So
I know,
Ida,
right?
hi. So
Hi.
just tell people a little bit about yourself and your background education-wise.
So there isn't so much to say about myself. Like, you all heard, my name is Idah Yetzer,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been out here for about 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I've been in aviation
Mm-hmm.
initially. Before coming to the States, I was in aviation. I was in Qatar for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I got this opportunity to come out here and I jumped onto it. And I came here and I started a whole new journey
Mm-hmm.
that I'm super excited to share with everybody out there. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, that's it.
Yeah, so when you say you're in aviation, what were you really doing in aviation? Because
I
I
was,
really want these people to understand that somebody can come from wherever and do this. So,
right.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was a cabin crew with Qatar Airways for about
Okay.
4 years in Qatar Doha.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I transitioned, went back to Kenya, but things were not like, okay back there.
Mm-hmm.
And it just happened that I got an opportunity to come to the States, and I jumped on it. I found myself here.
Okay. So you've been in the US, you said 4 years?
Yeah, for about 4 years now.
Okay. So what were you doing prior to jumping into this smart data course?
Oh my God, oh boy. So landing here, and I'm sure this is just not me. It happened to most of the immigrants. You get here, you don't know where to start from. You don't have everything going on for you,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the same for me. I faced so many challenges. I did all sort of odd jobs. You were
Yeah.
here, so you can tell I was a
Yeah.
CNA. I did housekeeping, and I was like, it was just a whole bunch of things
Yeah.
before I one day bumped onto that video, and the
Yeah.
rest of this is history.
So you joined Smart Data. How was your experience like? How did it take? And yeah, what did you
Okay.
learn?
So first things first, when I bumped into that information about smart data, I was so hesitant about it because that's IT, and I don't know why we just have this mentality that IT is, it's tough and you have to
Mm-hmm.
be all that sharp and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't so sure about it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I reached out to Jefton
Mm-hmm.
because he has his contacts there. So I reached out to him and I was like, you know what, I'm really interested in this, but I'm not like super sure because I didn't have no IT background, zero, like
Mm-hmm.
nothing,
Zero, nothing.
zero. Like
Mm-hmm.
those people who like all I could do is just like boot up a computer and that's it. Like that
Yeah.
was me. So he was like, you know what? It all depends on your mindset, your
Yeah.
mentality. Like if you put 100 in it, you can do it. And he really encouraged me. He was like, I've had people who didn't even know how to start up a computer, but
Mm-hmm.
they did it.
Yeah.
So that was so encouraging, and I was like, well, you know what? At that point, I have been so tired of doing all these random jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I need a change.
You
So
need a
I was
break.
like, I really needed it so bad, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
So that's how I landed in Smart Data,
Mm-hmm.
and my journey through Smart Data was actually I'm super grateful because of my instructors.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were so patient. Like
Yeah.
when I say patient, they were so patient.
Yeah.
Because you're talking to somebody who like doesn't even know how to, let me say, copy paste and all
Mm-hmm.
that. And this somebody like my instructor is definitely a genius in IT,
Yeah.
but they were so patient. They will be like, I remember every time in our lectures in our class, they'll be like, we are not leaving anybody behind. Like
Wow.
we are moving as a class. So
Wow.
it didn't matter, like, those chopizo classes, like they always grasp things so first. And
Yeah.
then there's these other ones who will take a while before like grasping things. So they
Yeah.
were like, you know what, we have to wait for everybody. Like we
Nice.
are
I like
moving
that.
together. We are not leaving anybody behind.
Yeah.
And he would be super, super patient, to be honest. He'll give you time. If you don't understand it, he'll explain it over and over and over and over again to a
Yeah.
point that you feel like, okay, I got it, and we'd move to something else. So
No,
I
no,
kind of feel
look
like
at
that
you.
really helped us. Yeah, that really,
14,
really, really helped me out.
yeah. So 14 weeks later, you nailed it. Somebody who could not do copy paste, you nailed it and
I
you're killing it.
I did, but to be honest, I kind of feel like I remember this something Jackson told me. Like he literally, because I used to personally, I used to bug these people a lot. Like I would call my instructor like 10 times a day. If I don't get anything,
Yeah.
I'd always go back and call them like, listen, I don't understand what's going on, and they would always find time to explain to me. So I
Yeah.
remember one time me and Jackson were talking, and he's like, Ida, you know what? I'm gonna advise you. This is not, it's not a course where you just gonna, open your computer when you have a lecture, and then
Yeah.
when the lecture is done, you close your computer until the next lecture. It's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna work. It's not gonna work that way. They were
Mm-hmm.
like, after every lecture, you need to go back and just revise and just, just go through this whole lecture again. Because good thing is like we had recordings all the
Mm.
time. Each class had a recording, so you could always go back and revise. So literally, that's what I did. And he's like, "You gotta put in your 100%, right?"
Mm.
And true to it, I did. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I did, because I'm not gonna sit here and lie to people like it's easy. Now, it's not easy, but
No.
if
Yeah.
you
But
put in your 100%, I promise you, it's gonna pay off eventually.
yeah.
Because personally, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I would after lectures, I would go back to the recordings and just revise them two, three, four, 5 times, and just make
That's
sure I
nice.
got it. And make
Yeah.
sure I got it. And what I wouldn't understand, I would go back and call my instructor Eric. And sometimes I would even call Jackson, who's like the boss. I would call him and I'd be like, okay, Jackson, I'm having some issues here. Like, I need help. And he would
Mm-hmm.
be like, okay. Sometimes I remember this one time I called him and he was at the airport, and I'm like, but I need help. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna step out. I'm gonna step out for a minute. And he literally did, and he helped me with whatever situation I was having. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they were super supportive, and I
So you
kind of
have a
feel
lot
like
of support when you're going through smart data. Yeah.
very, very, very. You don't have to fear the fact that, I don't have any experience in IT, whatever. They're gonna nurture you like literally they do. They nurture
Yeah.
you, and they're super, super patient to a point
Mm-hmm.
like they make you feel so comfortable, and you're like, okay, well, if I don't understand this, I can always reach out to them, and they're gonna come through for me. I think that
Yeah.
really helped me out. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Nice. So, are you interviewing right now? Your resume is done.
Okay, so when it got to my resume, that was after my class. I reached out to Jackson again. I was like, okay, so the class is done. So what happens? Because I could even come up with my IT resume, because now I'm talking about IT.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? It's okay. We always help our students with that. So he literally helped me out with my resume based on what I had studied, like
Yeah.
literally everything. And I just put it out there, and one thing led to the other, and before I know it, I was getting like so many phone calls, and yeah, that's just how it happened.
Yeah. Wow, I'm so proud of you. I
Thank
mean,
you.
you're welcome. Look at this girl. She worked in Qatar as a cabin crew, went to Kenya, moved to the US 4 years ago,
Right,
did all the jobs, CNA, all these things that we do when we're still trying to build ourselves in the US. And look at
right.
her. She's now going to be a data analyst. I mean, analyst, I'm sorry, data analyst. I mean, look at her.
No,
So
wait a minute, Jean. I'm not going to be. I
you
am.
are. Okay, okay. Scratch
I
that.
am.
Oh, and that makes me also, yes, I'm also a data analyst. Since I did this, I just didn't
Oh,
work yet, but yeah. So I'm
that's
very proud of
awesome.
you. I'm very proud
Thank
of
you
you,
so much.
Ida. I mean,
Thank
your
you.
story makes me feel like anybody can do it. But the people, guys, you heard the way she was calling the instructors 10 times, calling Jackson when he was at the airport. Like, you have to be resilient. You have to work for it. You don't want to
That's
feel
right.
like you paid your money and then you feel like, okay, no, you have to learn, you have to revise. The classes are recorded, the classes are online. And then I was told you guys had something that happening on Tuesday and Thursday, like to review amongst the students,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah, that's right. We used to call those study halls, and that was basically, and that's why I'm saying they were super supportive. Like, we used to have our classes on over the weekend, and if you like, if you didn't understand anything so well, we had those study halls on Tuesdays
Yeah.
and Thursdays, where we'd meet up with some instructors, and you'd just be like, okay, I didn't get this. Like, do you mind going over it? And they would do that. Like, they would help you out. And back to my point, they were super, super supportive. They were doing everything to make sure that we were all moving at the same pace.
So, Ida, where do you work right now? I see
I
Jackton is
work.
asking you.
Oh, he did. I missed
Yeah.
that comment. I'm sorry. I work for Microsoft right now.
Well, you work for Microsoft. What do you do for Microsoft,
I'm
Ida?
I'm a senior data analyst for Microsoft.
Yes, girl. Look at this girl. You people. Mtu ametoka flight attendant, cabin crew, and now she's a senior data analyst for Microsoft. I mean,
Right.
what more do you want? I
That's
beg, what do you
right.
want? Yeah.
I
So how did
know,
you,
right?
let me just take you back a little bit. When you were interviewing, during the interview process, how did you get this? How do you think you nailed this job?
Okay, to be honest, like it goes back to you as a person, because after I'm done with classes, like after I'm done with our lectures, I had the option of, just placing my laptop aside and forgetting about it and just, but I never did that. Even after we were done with classes, I would still revise. And you know, it it's all in your mind, because at that given time I didn't have anybody tell me like you need to study, but I knew what I was trying to achieve. I knew what my I was trying to get at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
after my classes, I would still study. Any little time I would get, I would be on my laptop and I would just be studying and studying and studying, because at that particular time I knew I was studying for my interviews.
Yeah.
And it just happened like one day I get an email and these guys are like, we have an opening for Microsoft as a data analyst. Like basically my job is about how do you call it, Power BI.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah. They were like, we like your resume, so we'd like to interview you. And I was like, wow, okay. So you see, I kept on revising, and when they told me that, I was like, you know what? I think I've been revising so much that I'm so ready for that interview.
Yeah.
So I was just like, well, okay, just bring it on. And they were like, oh, but what's your availability? I was like, you know what? I'm gonna work with your time, because I was so prepared. I was so ready. I had been revising and reading and all that and bagging all my instructors. So I was just so ready for it. So I kind of feel like that really helped me out for my interview. The
Okay.
revision and going back and just studying and researching and YouTube. I made YouTube my friend. I would go back to those videos and just watch them over and over again. And yeah,
Yeah.
when I got
Yeah.
to my interview, I nailed it. It was super, super
They were
easy. I walked in the
impressed.
park.
And this is Microsoft,
Yeah.
guys. Hey, guys, don't play. So let me ask you, somebody's asking, what's the pay range for senior data analyst? That's number one. And number two, I was going to ask, do you work remotely or how does it work?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with working remotely, because that was one thing I was like, whew, I was tired working on the weekends. I'm just like going to work every single day. So yes, I do work remotely unless I really have to do something in the office. Now I'll have to go in, but that doesn't happen so regularly. But I work remotely, like
What
always at
state are
home.
you in before you
I'm
answer the
in
second?
Washington.
Oh, you're in Washington,
Washington,
Seattle?
where Microsoft is like the
Nice. The
headquarters.
headquarters. That's very nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm in
Yeah.
Washington.
Okay.
Okay, the other question was about the pay
Pay
rate.
range. Uh-huh.
I really don't know what they mean by that.
Like, do they make $80,000 per year, 150,000? Like just a range from
Ooh,
what offers were you receiving? We're not saying you say what you're making right
the
now,
exact.
but there, yeah, what offers were
So
you receiving? Yeah,
basically, I would say like it's $100,000 and above. To be
yeah.
honest,
There you go.
yeah.
You have your answer.
To
So
be
I
honest.
see this girl called Nietzsche or Nisi or Nietzsche. I don't know. She's asking questions that we already covered. The course is 14 weeks. The price is $4,000. And if you go back to my video once I finish, you'll see what they offer, and the resume, interview, employment verification, all that is done. So any parting shot, Ida, before I step out?
Oh, I see somebody just asked that question. Let me see if I can get. They were asking about the challenges I face as a data analyst. That was just so random. I saw it.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, when you get a job, this is just a thing generally. One, there's some companies, though I didn't go through there, but there's some companies that would offer training. Like, so you get trained for that position again. I didn't get that training too, but to be honest, like with the revising and studying I've been doing, I wasn't so scared. And then apart from that, like whenever I'm assigned something like a project I'm working on right now, it can feel if at all I feel like okay, this is something I need help with, I still reach out to my instructors. I still reach out to Jecton. I'm like, this is the best part of it all. Like, even after you know the students and you're out there, you have a job, they're still there for you. They're
Yeah.
still holding your
They're still
hand.
supporting
Because,
you.
yeah, I would call them and they'll be like, okay, so what's the issue? Like, what are you trying to do? And they would come through for me.
Yeah.
Even right now that I'm not a student. So I haven't really faced so many challenges, to be honest, because they're always there. I can always reach out to them.
You
And
have a good
yeah,
support system with the school.
I do. I do. I can say that, guarantee 100%.
Nishi's saying, do you have V? I don't know what she's asking. I'm sorry. But Jecton can answer that. Thank you so much, Ida. Thank you so
You're
much for your
welcome.
time. If we have
You're
any
welcome.
further interviews in the future, we definitely will get you on board, because I feel like
Thank you.
you're the face. You should be the face of smart data, really, because of where
Jecton
you
should
came
hear
from,
that.
from where you came from, and where you are right now. So yeah. So thank you so much.